and welcome. In today's video, I will be drawing the 7 deadly sins as a Rainbow Horse Orchestra. I will be doing this for my original story, Law and Consumer Demand. For context, in my universe, there are a number of races, and the only one of note for today is the equine, a race of humanoid horse people. I've talked a bit about them in this video, so if you would like more context, feel free to check it out. Now, in my story, there's a character named Neko Neko. She is the #1 musician / idol in the underground country. However, the #2 slot is occupied by the Rainbow Orchestra, an all-equine orchestra. In order for Neko to keep her spot, she looks for secret dirt on her competition, where this is where the 7 deadly sins come into play. I thought it would be neat if each member of the Rainbow Orchestra had a secret sin they struggled with that Neko would exploit to stay #1. With that exploitation out of the way, let's get into it. But before that, remember to stay until the end for a special announcement that you might actually care about. To kick things off, let's start with envy, the sin of desiring that which belongs to someone else, something that on the surface doesn't seem too bad. We all want things we don't have, but when that desire leads us to resenting the people who have what we don't, that's where issues arise. Now, for these, they are not literally the 7 deadly sins, but rather each struggles with one of the sins. So the Rainbow Horse Orchestra operates much like a K-pop group, where you keep up with the idols and their personalities as part of the experience. For my take on envy, she plays the role of the little sister. Someone that everyone teases, making jokes at her expense, like the comedy relief, but also the audience's self-insert, with the everyman, if you will. I imagine this is a very old bit to her. I think she wants nothing more than to be respected. I think she is the type of person who secretly hates everyone around her because she wants them, or she wants to be them. She wants to be the head of the show, not the throwaway gag character everyone laughs at. I decided to make her a horse equine because it fits the bill of not being very special. Sorry, girlie. Now in my story, every species has a design theme. Humans are food, Nekomata are music genres, and equine are skies. For envy, I went with a stormy sky above a forest with low clouds reflecting the green of the trees. I gave her bows that look like lightning, but also gave them triangles at the end to represent snake heads. You see, historically, envy is represented by a snake. I gave her gloves with only the pointer and pinky fingers having white on having any fingers on them, and made them white to look like snake fangs, and gems on her head or on her dress to look like the snake eyes. Again, more fang motifs. Next up, we have lust, the sin of immense desire, specifically in the romantic department. Lust was particularly difficult for me to come up with a concept before. Most people just draw a hot woman and call it a day, but I am not really into promiscuous stuff. And also, if you've seen me talk about equine, you would know that they are generally very naive and innocent, and I would feel creepy if I made that combined with promiscuity. And so after consulting the council, I decided that lust would simply be a person obsessed with her friends and anyone she thinks is cute, wanting to be their friend as well, always following them around and stalking them on social media. I think her role in the group would be that of a doting sister, always making sure folks are happy, but secretly making some folks uncomfortable with how close she acts to them. Even if she doesn't mean to bother them, I imagine she is very clingy and has abandonment issues. I made her a horse equine for no reason other than I felt like it. For her design, I went for an early dawn sky similar to my OC Vega. I almost did a more blue sky, but an abodal member of mine was insistent I kept the pink. Out of all of them, this design might be my least favorite. It's kind of basic, I guess. For her hair and dress, I went for a heart shape because love. I also wanted her hair to be in drills resembling that of ram horns because lust is represented by a goat. Her eyes are hearts, and overall, she's very frilly girly. I don't think it's bad, but I could do better. What are your thoughts? Now on to gluttony, a sin that needs no real introduction. For my take on the sin, I thought it would be interesting if she was from a family who was desperate for money. Maybe her parents were particularly unattractive Pegasi who couldn't get work because of it. See, the Pegasi equine have hollow bones and thus can't do most physical labor jobs, and since most equine tend to be on the unintelligent side, getting work is very hard. Or would be very hard. So I imagine her parents had a boatload of kids, hoping that at least one of them would grow up to be able to support the family. I think Gluttony got her big break from her sweet personality and unique nose, rebranding it as a rare commodity rather than an ugly feature. I, for one, find her nose cute, by the way. I think she would be a hard worker, but also I think the stress of supporting her massive family would get to her, along with the fact that she is the least attractive member, canonically, of the Rainbow Orchestra. She is on thin ice. I imagine her family owns a small diner, and so food would bring her comfort, but the beauty standard for Eckrine is very strict, and so she has to constantly count calories and try to find ulterior ways to ease her stress. I decided she should be a Pegasi, due to the added stress of hollow bones and needing to fly. Now, for her design, the emerald that represents Gluttony is a pig, so I might be a bad person for doing this, but I gave her a lot of bacon motifs. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry, but it's cute. I also gave her an upturned nose and ears that flop forward that resemble a pig. Again, I'm sorry, but I thought it was cute. I also gave her cloved hoof motifs because, again, pigs. The bacon, short hair, and apron all wheel back to the family diner vibe. Sorry for choking. I don't know. I really like her design, and I hope you guys do as well. And of course, I went for an orange sunset as her equine design theme. I'm sorry if the design is kind of mean, but I mean, it's so cute though. She looks really cute. I'd be her friend, honestly. I think she's cute. Ah, sloth, everyone's favorite sin, the sin of shirking your responsibilities to do absolutely nothing. For my take on the sin, I did struggle a bit, though in the end I am pretty happy with the result. For Sloth, I decided he would play the role of the earnest kudere, being quite popular with fans of the group. However, in actuality, he would be a tired and bored person, rarely caring about what's happening around him. I imagine he would be deep into his own head, constantly daydreaming about random stories in hopes of finding one he connects with. I imagine he wants to care about something. He just hasn't found it yet. Now, I'm no therapist, but he seems depressed, and I know symptoms of depression can come across as lazy. True depression isn't glamorous or aesthetic, and I am not literally creating the 7 deadly sins, and more so creating a character inspired by them. I'm not saying being depressed is lazy. I am more so trying to invoke the vibe of sloth, like a massive weight all over you, clouding the mind and body. For his design, I went for a later dawn sky than lust, and since Sloth is often represented by a bear, I thought it would be cute to make him look like a soft and bear-like. I gave him a white patch on his nose and a small rounded ears along with a rounded tail to give him the vibe of a bear. I also added bear paws on his cuffs and tie. I also gave him super simple eyes, like he's so tired his eyes couldn't even handle any detail. It also is very cute to me, and I kind of want to give him a hug, not gonna lie. Also, I made him a Pegasus because I thought it would be cute for him to have big fluffy wings. He just cuddles in all the time. I would like to hug him and be his friend. Now on to wrath, the sin of letting anger cause you to harm those around you. For my take on wrath, I thought it would make sense if she was the type of person who desires for greatness and order, living her whole life trying to be the best she can in hopes of being a respected and powerful soul user. That is the magic in my story. However, instead of being a powerful soul user, she became an idol. It was never her goal to go into music, but due to circumstances out of her control, this career kind of just fell into her lap. Now she tries to keep order in the group, playing the role of the older sister of the group. However, I think she resents this role. She wants to be a powerful warrior or a scientist, not a doll prancing around a stage, cleaning up after a group of fully capable adults. I vibe with her so much. Oh my gosh. I know she's supposed to represent the sin of wrath, but I can't help it. She's me for real. Minus the resentment thing of her job anyways. For her design, I thought it would be nice to give her a wolf cut with a retro anime look to it, mostly because when I think of older anime, specifically shonen, the secondary female character was always someone who acted really cute but had the worst temper. For her sky, I went for a low sunset with clouds reflecting red fading into blue. It was hard to find a red sky that wasn't taken from a show or photoshopped in some capacity. As for her animal motif, wolves represent wrath, so I gave her little paws all over her dress, hat, tie, and like warmer things. I also gave her spiky pointed ears like a wolf. I made her a unicorn so she could have been studying soul for her actual use and not for that of teaching. Now on to our penultimate character, we have greed, the sin that has a major effect on the people of Earth. The sin letting your desire for wealth get in the way of your morality and consideration for the world around you. For my take on greed, I went for a unicorn equine based off of a vibrant sunset. I had a few issues with his color palette, but I think I am satisfied with how it turned out. For his character, I think he plays the role of a playboy of the group, a very charismatic and flashy individual. However, behind his flashy demeanor is a person with a deep gambling addiction, always strapped for cash. He constantly wastes the group's funds secretly gambling at Pesca casinos. That is, the fish people. You can learn more about them in that one video that I keep mentioning, or check out their lore tab on my Unveil. I imagine Greed being the second in command of the group, but more so in status than actual responsibility. I don't think he enjoys being a gambling addict. I think only Pride knows about it. I imagine he tries to stop, but is always drawn back, with his flaunts of wealth and charismatic personality being a way for him to try and fill a void inside of himself. For his design, I wanted him to be very flashy. Greed has multiple animals it's represented by. I went with a fox because it fit well with the sunset aesthetic I wanted for him. I added a number of sun motifs on his design because when I think of the sun, I think of golden rays and opulence. I very much like how his design came out, and I hope you like it. Last but certainly not least, the most deadly of the 7 deadly sins, pride. For my rendition, I think Pride would be the leader of the group, a graceful and elegant figure of whom all respect. I imagine he would be the type of person to have a savior complex, thinking he is perfect and that it is his job to help those around him. However, I think he needs this kind of internal validation, and whether or not he realizes it, I think he sabotages those around him to keep them needing him. I imagine he and Greed to be very close, with Pride being the only one to know about Greed's issues. I imagine Pride would help him home when Greed gambled all his cab money. I think Pride would somewhat enable Greed, not out of malice, but out of a desire to be needed. I don't think Pride would think of his behavior this way, thinking he's doing what he has to help. But in the end, he's only making it worse. I imagine he has a similar relationship with the rest of the orchestra, fueling their internal vices so that they would rely on him. For his design, I wanted opulence, so I made him a Pegasus with very large wings. He is based on an early twilight sky. I plastered sparkles every which way, and made his hair look like the night sky. Pride is represented by a peacock, so I added peacock tail feathers are all over his coat, and gave him some feathery pants. Overall, I am very happy with how he turned out. He is also one of my household's favorites, and I hope he is one of your favorites. Anyways, that's the end of the video, but don't go just yet because I have an important announcement. First off, we hit 500 subscribers! Yay! Thank you! It's actually close to like 700 now, which is actually really crazy. Thank you. And as thank you, I would like to make a video where I will be drawing your original characters. Be they drawn, made in a character customizer that includes Gacha, Life, Roblox, Pit Crew, etc. Or even a wax figurine. I would like to draw your characters. You can submit them in any of the ways on screen. Links in my bio and the description if you're interested. And if you check my posts, I will also have an email you can send it to if you would rather. Please include some description and lore. I would love to read it, and it also helps me when making an illustration. Also, please nothing inappropriate or suggestive. Blood is okay. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I haven't got names for these characters yet. For Equine, I like to give them sky-themed Greek names. So it's taking me a second to come up with any. So if you have ideas, feel free to let me know. Anyway, as always, I hope you had a good time whenever you are currently living, and goodbye.